Hello, my name is Alan and this is my lovely co-host Sarah. We'll be your guides throughout this series as we explore what it is exactly that keeps guys like Roger busy with all the women he can handle, while guys like Wayne keep striking out.
Every day we see the same thing. Two guys on a seemingly level playing field, guys like Roger and Wayne. Average looking, neither one of them a rock star or a millionaire. Yet somehow guys like Roger have no problem picking up the women of their choice, while the guys like Wayne just can't seem to get it right.
What is it about Roger? What does he know? What did he say to make her laugh? And what did he say to get her number?
Well, that's what we're here to help you with.
The truth is that there is a science to this game. It governs everything from meeting the woman of your choice, to gaining her trust, to dating, and beyond. It may not be a secret, but it's definitely not something that's taught to us in school. And the guys who do understand most of this science aren't exactly rushing to share it with you.
Not only have I helped in the development of this series, I've also had some of these techniques applied to myself. The techniques you'll be learning are consistent and can be used in any situation. I can really tell you that they actually do work.
This is the first instructional video series of its kind to comprehensively explain and demonstrate all of the techniques and concepts that took us well over 4 years to compile.
I was amazed to see how many books, websites, and manuals that are out there on this topic, some of them decent with accurate information, but there's just one problem. How can you be expected to effectively execute what you just read?
It's for this reason that we've decided to present this information to you in a video format complete with detailed demonstrations. Which brings me to one last point. Sitting back and watching this series is a good start, but you need to do a lot more than that to become a pro.
Throughout this series, we're going to be giving you some exercises after we've covered the various topics and watched the demonstrations. You need to get out there and practice.
This series deals with the art of seduction. What exactly is seduction other than the act of seducing?
Seduction is defined in the dictionary as to induce to engage in sex and to win over or attract.
For the purpose of this series, seduction is going to entail the entire process of getting the girl. From start to finish, we'll cover it all. Whether it's a woman you may already know or the young lady you bump into at the grocery store, you'll learn how to approach her, how to win her over, and ultimately, how to make her yours.
We're not going to make any false promises to you. It is unlikely that you'll be able to walk up to any woman you see on the street and have her in bed with you within the hour.
We also need to point out the techniques you'll be learning should only be used in a positive manner. I'm going to be using the term woman, girl, and lady interchangeably. In any case, I am always referring to a woman anywhere between 18 and, well, whatever you're into.
Whether you're looking for a potential wife, a short-term girlfriend, or a passionate one-night stand, the techniques that you'll learn here will help you get there.
Before you can plan out and execute the perfect date, and long before you can sleep with her, you have to find her. And that's what we're going to be dealing with in this volume.
Once you find her, you're going to have a window that's possibly as short as 15 seconds to make her want to see you again. Sounds daunting, doesn't it?
Well, soon enough, you'll see that it's really a lot easier than you think.
This DVD is divided into 4 chapters that cover different topics. You can navigate through these chapters from the main menu. You may find that some of these topics don't apply to you, or at least you may think they don't.
For that reason, we strongly encourage you to watch this entire video in order at least once. Then feel free to return to any topic that you need to work on.
Well, there are plenty of women out there waiting, and I'm sure that you're very eager to get started. So let's not waste any more time.
Hey man, check her out over there. You should go say something.
Nah, man, I don't know.
Bartender, 2 shots?
Let's go.
Thank you.
Well, here's to nothing. Hi, you mind if I join you for a drink?
Sure, whatever.
Hi, I'm Max. So, where are you from?
Look, Max, I'm sure you're a nice guy and all, but I'm really not interested.
Okay, I'm sorry to bother you anyway. Have a good night.
There you have it, every man's fear, putting yourself on the line and getting shot down by some cold-hearted girl.
I hate to admit it, Alan, but I've actually been guilty of acting the same way countless times.
Well, this chapter is going to cover everything having to do with understanding and overcoming the fear that comes with approaching women.
You may be one of those guys who has no problem at all approaching women. Even if you're turned down, you have no problem bouncing back.
Unfortunately, for the majority of guys out there, this isn't the case. What we cover in this chapter has nothing to do with how smooth you are or knowing how to say all the right things. It has to do with being able to understand, handle, and even welcome rejection.
Even the hottest, smoothest, good-looking guys out there have gotten turned down. I can't even begin to tell you how many model-looking players I've given the cold shoulder to over the years.
If you're going to play the game, you have to be willing to accept some losses. Imagine that the star batter on a baseball team was terrified of striking out. Well, all his potential would go to waste because he'd never step up to the plate.
I'm sure you've heard it before, and the truth is it's a perfect analogy. Without a batting average, you cannot hit a home run, or even a single for that matter. You need to get out there and practice swinging at every decent pitch.
Let's take another look at Max and see how he's doing.
I don't get it, man. These women could be such bitches. Ever since Jane and I broke up, I've had no luck.
Hey man, don't sweat it. Take a look around this place. She was nothing anyways. There's plenty of hot girls just waiting to get picked up. Hey buddy, get in there. Check her out.
No, I can't do that. She'll probably give me the same treatment. To get shot down once in a night is okay, but twice, I don't think I could deal with that.
Max is making the most common and fatal error we see guys make. He's got a perfect pitch heading down the plate, but he's letting a previous experience keep him from swinging the bat.
It is so sad. I have many guy friends like Max, the nicest guys with everything going for them, but you give them a few rejections and they're ready to throw the towel in.
Although it's easier said than done, the first thing you need to do is wipe the slate clean. Forget about your past rejections. Dwelling on them is only going to hold you back.
Here's something you and Max didn't know about the first girl he hit on. She's at the bar drinking by herself because she just got in a fight with her boyfriend.
You have no idea who this girl is, and there's no way for anyone to tell by looking at her, just sitting there, that A, she has a boyfriend, or B, she's in a bad mood and is going to treat you coldly.
Even if a rock star or a millionaire had approached her the same exact way Max did, she still would have treated him the same. Instead of rationalizing this, Max took a blow to his pride that'll probably set him back a few weeks.
Let's take a look at how the situation would have played out if Max's friend Jake had hit on Lisa instead.
Hey man, look at her over there. She's just waiting for some guy to go over and pick her up.
Definitely, you need to go for it.
Alright. Hey there, I couldn't help but notice you sitting alone. You waiting for somebody?
Not really.
Mind if I join you? My name's Jake.
That's probably not such a good idea.
Not such a good idea. First time I've heard that before.
There's first time for everything, I guess. I'm serious though, I'd rather be alone.
Really? You looked like a nice girl. I guess you never know.
Damn, that was quick.
Chick's better from over here anyways.
But what'd she say?
Some crap. Must be that time of the month.
I hear that.
Hey look, another contender over there.
Already? Nothing phases you.
Listen, I'm not gonna let some girl get me down. She's just been having a bad day or something like that. Hey, how you guys doing?
Hi.
Can I buy you guys a drink?
Sure, okay.
Excellent. 3 drinks?
That's much better.
Absolutely.
Oh, you're probably thinking to yourself that it's pretty easy to show you a video of a guy not being slowed down by rejection and then to go ahead and tell you to be like that guy. Well, you have to understand, though, that it really is that easy.
Granted, if you have a social anxiety problem or you've just always been shy, it's going to take some more work, but you need to realize that it's really not personal.
We can't emphasize that enough. You have no idea why a girl turned you down. If you start to come up with reasons in your head, why blame yourself? Now you see, Jake immediately attributed it to her having a bad day.
And as I told you earlier, that's the truth.
So the next time you approach a woman and get nothing back, you have to tell yourself that it wasn't personal. Because you know what?
It wasn't.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Did you drop this?
No, I don't think so.
Are you sure? Because I saw it on the sidewalk right there, and I thought it fell out of your purse.
No.
I'm sorry. Have I seen you around here before?
I wonder what's going through her mind right now.
Wishful thinking, Alan.
Oh, come on.
I'll fill you in on what she was more likely thinking about.
No!
Oof, that's harsh.
Well, that's reality.
Well, unfortunately, Sarah is right. What we guys don't always realize is that in this world, a woman's first concern when she's approached by a stranger is often whether or not she's going to be hurt or assaulted.
And that's with good reason. Did you know that 1 out of every 3 American women are assaulted in their lifetime?
With those kinds of statistics, it's not hard to understand why women feel this way. As Sarah mentioned, it's reality. And you need to understand this so you know where they're coming from.
We're sharing this with you because this chapter on addressing your fears wouldn't be complete without addressing hers.
Your job is to make the woman feel comfortable. You have to show her as soon as possible that you're not a threat. The easiest way to do this is to smile and lend in an air of familiarity. Fill her in on something about yourself that would make her feel comfortable right away.
Let's take a look at how Max should handle the previous situation where we left off.
I'm sorry. Have I seen you around here before?
I don't think so.
Really? Because I live in a building right there, and I could have sworn that I've seen you.
Oh, you know what? I visit a friend over here.
That will explain it. I'm sorry I didn't introduce myself. I'm Max.
Lisa, nice to meet you, Max.
It's a pleasure.
You too.
Now that's more like it.
Definitely. He sensed her apprehension and he addressed it.
He put her at ease by pointing out that he lives in the neighborhood.
He also mentioned that she looks familiar, and this works out this time since she has visited the building before.
He went on to introduce himself quickly. Notice his demeanor and his smile. This adds to the harmless persona he needs to project.
Moving him 1 notch away from being a complete stranger.
Okay, now that we've wrapped up the first chapter, we're going to recap some of the main points before giving you some exercises. This chapter dealt with how to rationalize and eventually overcome the fear of rejection. First, meeting girls is essentially a numbers game. No matter how good you are, you'll still strike out every now and then. It's all part of the game.
Second, you absolutely can't take rejection personally. Chances are that you'll have no idea what's going on in a woman's mind unless you're psychic. If a girl turned you down, you have to realize that it didn't necessarily have to do with your looks or your personality.
Third, if you've had bad experiences in the past, stop dwelling on them. If you approach women with rejection in mind, it'll be projected in your attitude and increase the chances of rejection, thereby creating a cycle.
Fourth, you need to understand that the woman you're approaching probably has fears of her own. It's more than likely she's afraid of getting hurt either emotionally or physically.
And with good reason.
Remember, if you haven't met this woman before and you have no mutual friends at all, you're pretty much a complete stranger.
Okay, now for the exercises.
There are plenty of simple things you can do to increase your comfort level around women. The first and most obvious is just being friendly.
Now you're probably saying to yourself, what do you mean be friendly? I'm always friendly. Well, the truth of the matter is that most people today are so self-consumed that they talk to others like robots, especially in urban environments.
Chances are you come into contact with a lot of women throughout the day, and I'm willing to bet that most of these women you don't even acknowledge.
For example, remember the last time you went to the pharmacy to pick something up? If the cashier was a woman, did you talk to her or did you just hand her the money and walk away?
It doesn't matter if she was young or hot. She represented a perfect opportunity to work on your initial contact skills. All it takes is a warm smile, a greeting, and a simple compliment.
Start with a basic greeting, and then you can comment on anything from the weather to a current event. You should also get into the habit of complimenting women.
Oh, we'll be talking about compliments later on, so we won't get into detail right now. But it's not a bad idea to throw some in.
Take a look at this.
What a shame. That was a perfect opportunity.
Well, at the least, he would have had some practice. Let's see how easy it could have been.
Hey, you going to the garage also?
I'm going to the ground, actually. Thanks.
Oh, those nice shoes.
Yeah, I just got them. I'm about to go running.
Oh, yeah, I got a pair just like them. They're so comfortable.
I know, I love them.
Yeah, where do you go running?
You know the park at 14th Street?
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You should try the one on 9th Street. It's really beautiful.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, have a good
Bye.
one. Bye.
Now that was much better.
Ask yourself how many times you've been in a similar situation where you just stood there and didn't say a word.
What did Ronnie accomplish? Well, for starters, he got invaluable practice in initiating the conversation, and by doing so, he created more of a potential for the next time he sees her. Who knows? He might see her tomorrow, and now he has a base to work off of.
If you spend every possible opportunity interacting with a woman like that, then before you know it, it'll become second nature. If you're not so comfortable initiating contact, then you can take an easier approach and give her a simple greeting. Hi, or what's up?
You have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. The more comfortable you are, the more bold you can get in your compliments. Just don't overdo it.
You get the idea. Anyway, here's what we want you to accomplish.
Every opportunity you get, whether it's the girl at the grocery store checkout counter,
Or a girl you pass on the street.
at least say hi to her and greet her.
And if you're comfortable with it, go on and compliment her in some way and initiate simple conversation. Remember, treat this as an assignment and go into it without the intention of getting her number.
That way there's absolutely no chance of rejection.
During these few weeks of practicing, approach any type of girl, not just the ones you're attracted to. This way, you're not putting it all on the line.
If you talk to every plain Jane you see throughout the day, it'll be a lot easier. Work your way up.
After a few weeks of practicing, you'll find yourself in the situation that you're actually interested in the girl. You should have no hesitation in approaching her because it's something that'll come naturally.
That wraps up Chapter 1. Remember the main points we reviewed and practice, practice, practice.
Well, you know how many times, and I'm sure you've dealt with this too, you might see a woman and you make eye contact and there might be a connection, but you walk past each other and nothing ever happens, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there have been numerous times that happens, but you never do anything. Like, I remember there was a time there was this awesome guy on the subway. I don't know who he was, and we just had this connection. I'm like, oh shit, I want to go over there and like, you know, talk. But I was like, I can't, you know, we're on the subway, and I was like, and it never happened. It's like a missed opportunity.
No, I don't think they should be discouraged if they're shot down. You know, they just got to move on and try something else, you know, with somebody else. Obviously, they're not my type. If I shoot them down or if they're shot down by anybody else.
No, I don't think so. I don't think just because one girl might discourage us, because doesn't mean the other girl might, you know, might not think, you know, maybe you came at them the wrong way, or maybe it was just the wrong time. That person was having a bad time, or maybe they have a boyfriend. But I don't think they should get discouraged.
It depends on, like, I think it depends on the shot, like how bad it is. Like, if we're just like, just go, you know, like being serious about it, then I think they should get the clue. But if it's like we might be having a bad day and you might not be in the mood, but it depends on like the degree of, I guess, the shot down.
We're going to take some time now to discuss a topic that plays a big role in meeting and picking up women: personal style and clothing. In a perfect world, what you're wearing shouldn't be a defining factor in meeting women.
Unfortunately, it is. Ever hear the saying, clothing makes the man? Well, take it from me. There's a lot of truth to it.
If you think about it, though, it really isn't unfortunate because unlike your looks or size, what you wear is completely under your control.
Your style and grooming are both parts that make up your physical appearance, along with the body you were born with. The way you dress and take care of yourself is going to contribute to that immediate first impression you make, which is solely based on appearance.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi.
What's your name?
Lisa.
My name's Jeremy, nice to meet you. You here alone?
Actually, I'm meeting some friends. I think I see them over there. It was nice meeting you.
I just don't get it.
Maybe he should try tucking his shirt in for starters. The only exception to this rule is when that's the look that you're going for. We're not here to tell you what to look like. Everyone has their own style, and different girls are going for those different styles. No matter what your style is, whether it's a t-shirt and jeans or a dress coat and slacks, just make sure you look good. Now let's take a look at Jake and see what he was doing wrong. Well, the obvious thing that I mentioned earlier is that his shirt is half tucked out. So let's tuck that in. And while he's at it, he should try ironing that shirt. Wrinkled clothing never looks good, regardless of whether you're going for the yuppie look or the grunge look. It also looks like Jake just rolled out of bed, apparently not very attractive to Susan. Or me. Now let's get rid of that 5 o'clock shadow and do something with that hair. Much better. Okay, now let's try this again.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi,
What's your name?
Lisa.
I'm Jeremy. Nice to meet you.
You too.
Are you here alone?
I'm actually waiting for friends, but they're running late.
That's perfect. I'll keep you company. Would you like a drink?
Sure.
Waiter?
Interesting. She didn't walk away this time, so maybe it had something to do with the makeover. We're not here to give you a makeover, though. We don't know what you look like or what style you're going for. The only thing we can do here is give you advice that applies to everyone, similar to the advice we just gave Jake. Although we didn't change the clothing that he was wearing, we pointed out some of the things that apply to everyone. You need to come up with a style that works for you. Don't change who you are, but remember, the way you look is an expression of who you are. This also applies to your body. Let's face it, we can't all have the body of a professional athlete, but we should all be doing a minimum amount of maintenance. If you let your body fall apart, aside from the way you look, it sends a message that isn't very attractive, a message that says you are unhealthy and you don't care about yourself. If you don't spend any time in the gym, we recommend that you get in there. Besides the health implications, it can be a good place to meet women. This chapter deals with the role your physical appearance plays in picking up and meeting women. There are different aspects to physical appearance. Some you have complete control over, such as clothing and grooming, and others you have partial control over, such as degree of physical shape. First, women will absolutely notice your clothing. Remember, the clothes that you just throw on are going to advertise your style, which is a visual manifestation of your personality. 2. Regardless of your style, your clothing should be clean and fit you well. If you're a biker with a leather jacket that's too big, you'll look as bad to the girl you're hitting on as the stockbroker in a sports coat that's too small. 3. Pay attention to details when it comes to grooming, because the women definitely will. We're talking about things like fingernails, nose hair, toenails, etc. 4. Let your style help camouflage any physical shortcomings you may have. If you're short, wear clothing with vertical stripes and shoes with taller heels. If you're overweight, don't wear tight-fitting shirts. 5. Hygiene. You shouldn't need me to tell you to shower daily. Body odor and breath are huge factors to women. Invest in a good deodorant, maybe some mouthwash and breath mints. If you are ever unsure or suspect that you may have a problem, ask a friend that you can trust. 6. Murphy's Law. The time you leave your home looking like a bum is probably the time you'll run into the girl that you want to approach. You don't have to dress like you're leaving for an interview every time you leave the house. Just make sure that you look decent. 7. Get in the gym. If you're not currently going, make time for it. No matter what shape you're in or what your age is, it can only help. Unless, of course, you have a physical problem, in which case you should probably consult your doctor first. 8. Pay attention to your footwear. You see those dirty sneakers on your feet that you've had for years? Yeah, you probably didn't even realize you were wearing them. Well, she did.
Now for your exercise. Now this one's pretty easy. You need to re-evaluate your style and grooming. Now if you suspect there's any room for improvement, and there usually is, you need to address that.
As we said earlier, if it's a matter of hygiene, simply ask a friend you trust. If it's a matter of wardrobe and that sports coat from 1984 that you still insist on wearing, Well, I suggest you visit the department store.
There will be men and women working there that will be more than glad to help you pick out your clothes. It's their job.
In addition to that, pick up some of the popular men's fashion magazines. They'll have plenty of advertisements and articles showcasing the latest styles.
If the clothes you're being shown are out of your budget, then take a note as to what they look like, and you can always find a budget store or an outlet that'll sell you the same apparel for less.
Your goal is to look good. If the girl you're working on is only interested in what design or label you're wearing, then you don't want her anyway. Unless your goal is to have a one-night stand and never call her again.
Physically,
Too sweaty.
I don't like it when they're too
Back hair is a minus. I don't like facial hair in weird formations, like the thing that goes around here, or the little
groomed
thing right here.
Physically?
Physically.
Let's say if I see them, I see their haircut, their breath, teeth and eyebrows are like so important to me. Eyebrows and teeth.
Oh, I think clothing is very important. Guy in a suit looks great.
Yeah. You could be the ugliest person in the world, but you got a sense of humor and you're a real cool person, doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter. You could be the best looking guy, but if you got a stank attitude, forget about it.
Well, so far we've talked about overcoming our fear of rejection and how meeting women is purely a numbers game.
You've learned that even the smoothest, best-looking guys out there still hit a wall every now and then.
And we've discussed how your personal style and appearance can either help or hinder your progress.
Now we're going to get into a topic which I'm sure will interest everyone.
This chapter will deal with how to approach and initiate contact with the girl of your choice. We'll cover everything from opening lines and icebreakers to the do's and don'ts of getting the conversation started.
Throughout this chapter, we'll be introducing some psychological concepts that come into play. Although we'll be introducing them in different environments, they apply to all of them.
Before we jump into our first example, I need to point out that you, as the man, need to be initiating everything.
If you're waiting around for the girl to approach you, chances are you're going to be waiting for a long time.
The potential and ease of meeting women definitely vary from place to place. We'll be covering these different types of locations and situations later on in Chapter 4.
Let's go ahead and take a look at Jake for an example. He's going to be doing a lot of things wrong the first time around. Pay attention. After he's done, we'll point everything out and then we'll have him do it over again the right way.
She's a cutie. Who is she? I've seen her around before.
That's Susan. She's always here. She's just waiting for a friend to show up.
A friend? Is it a guy? Girl?
Her friend's name's Janet, so I think you're in good shape. Be right back.
Can I borrow a quarter?
Why?
I want to call my mom and just tell her I met the girl in my dreams.
Why don't you just use your cell phone?
It's got pretty cold outside tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty cold.
Yeah, I might have to break out some winter clothing.
Yep, maybe you should wait to see how it is tomorrow.
Yeah, good point. Have you seen the latest pirate movie? It's rated R.
I need to use the restroom. Be right back.
Oh, that was painful to watch.
It seems like Jake has a lot to learn, and it's a shame because the ball was in his court.
There he was, sitting in a familiar bar when he sees a woman he's attracted to all by herself, and she gives him the universal opening, eye contact, and a smile to boot.
Take it from me, guys. If a girl gives you eye contact, whether it's at a bar or a grocery store, and she holds it, it's certainly an invitation to approach her.
And if she gives you a quick smile, then that's definitely a green light.
So we need to give Jake a little credit. At least he got up and walked over there. The hardest part.
That's true. He took the initiative and approached her.
Now the first psychological aspect I want to point out is the way he walked over there. In case you didn't know, women find youth attractive.
Granted, youth is not something you can attain, but it is something you can portray. Whether you're 20 or 60, there are things in your control that can help you convey a youthful appearance.
Jake's clearly a little older than Susan. It didn't help that he strolled over to her looking like an old man. By working on his posture and walk, he can definitely look much younger.
Okay, now for the opening line.
Can I borrow a quarter?
Why?
I want to call my mom and just tell her I met the girl in my dreams.
Please, ditch the rehearsed cheesy lines. We don't need them.
Your opening should never sound rehearsed. Your approach should be simple and natural. Never focus on an opening line, because the fact is that there is no magic line that's going to help open any doors for you.
As far as I'm concerned, the best line is hello. Unless some guy made a complete ass of himself using a stupid pickup line, I wouldn't even remember the opening line 5 minutes into the conversation.
What's most important is what you say next. Remember, the goal of an opening line is just that, an opening. A simple introduction will suffice.
It will help if you can make her laugh, but by something genuinely funny. If you see an opportunity to approach a woman with something that will make her laugh, take it. But using a stupid pickup line is not the way to do it.
There's a huge difference between being laughed with and being laughed at.
The next thing is being direct. Women love a man who can be very direct. Shows confidence.
And don't beat around the bush. She's a woman and you're a man. She knows why you're coming over. There should be no confusion.
Let's watch Jake's attitude as he begins the next conversation.
There are two important points to make here. One having to do with his body language, the other with his choice of conversation.
As far as body language goes, eye contact is the first thing. It's essential in creating a sexual atmosphere. Eye contact is what got him over there in the first place. The best opportunity to make eye contact is during the conversation.
However, too much eye contact can have a negative effect. Be sure to hold eye contact during the conversation and then divert your eyes to other parts of her face every few seconds. Besides having a subconscious psychological benefit, eye contact will convey a confident and direct attitude.
The second thing he was doing wrong was the smile, or rather lack of. Jake needs to be smiling and she needs to see this.
What you say isn't nearly as important as how you say it. Your body is sending messages that she's picking up both consciously and subconsciously. An authentic smile will show her many things.
For starters, that you're a happy person, which mostly all people are attracted to. It will show her that you're confident and very enthusiastic about talking to her.
As for the conversation, when approaching a woman, you should always be putting out questions that allow for an immediate follow-up. These should be open-ended questions and not closed statements.
By putting out open-ended questions, it sets the stage for a more natural conversation. Look at Jake. His comments on the weather earned him a confirmation and nothing more.
The last thing we want to point out before we have him try again is something called the primacy effect.
The primacy effect means that a person is much more likely to pay attention at the beginning of the conversation and then drift off.
In plain English, first impression matters. In Jake's case, this is a woman he's seen before and will most likely see again.
We don't want to scare you, but the first impression you make will affect what the person thinks of you later on. Although Jake may have other chances with Susan, if he messes up the first time, it'll be a lot harder down the line.
Okay, let's throw him in there and have him try it again with a few adjustments.
Hi, my name's Jake.
Hi, Jake. I'm Susan.
I was talking to Roy. He mentioned that you were waiting for some friends. I thought I'd come keep you company.
Roy?
Right, the bartender.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's running a little late.
Do you mind if I have a seat?
No, go ahead.
I've seen you around here before. Do you live in the area?
Yeah, not too far. I live up by the marina.
Oh, up at Hallandale. I used to work up there. Is that little ice cream shop still up there? The one right off of Hollywood Boulevard?
Marble Delight?
That's the one.
I love that place.
We're going to cut him off here.
As you can see, Jake took care of all of his previous errors, and the result was much better.
Well, here's a checklist of the things he did correctly. First, he made brief eye contact with her from across the bar and smiled, thus receiving an invitation.
Second, he took the initiative and got up to approach Susan. As he approached her, he conveyed a confident and youthful appearance.
Third, when he got there, he ditched the cheesy pickup line and introduced himself. His opening was very natural and unrehearsed.
Fourth, he referred to the bartender by name, thus giving him an element of familiarity. This is similar to what we covered in Chapter 1 with Max approaching Angeli on the sidewalk.
Fifth, he made sure to smile and make adequate eye contact during the start of his conversation.
And sixth, he presented her with open-ended questions that will set the tone for the conversations in the next chapter.
He's also dressed nicely, keeping in line with Chapter 2's material.
All in all, I'd say he did a pretty good job. Remember, the initial impression sets the tone, and it's a lot harder to make up for mistakes you made early on.
The different points we've made here don't just apply to the environment in which Jake was hitting on Susan. The fundamentals would apply whether he was approaching her on the street, after a class they were both taking, or even on the beach.
Let's take a minute to address some other scenarios that could come into play when approaching a girl.
Very often, the woman you're interested in will be together with her friends.
Let's see how Jake would handle the situation if he had waited until Susan's friend had shown up.
Hi girls, how you doing tonight? Hi, I'm Jake.
Hi, Jake.
Hi. How are the martinis here?
Pretty good.
What's your name?
Susan.
Susan. It's good to meet you. You from around here?
Look, girls, I think our table's ready. Let's go sit down.
I have to give Jake credit. He did a lot of things right. Approaching a group of girls when you're alone can be intimidating, but he built up the courage to do it.
Unfortunately, though, he made a common mistake and a common situation.
Now, you will often find girls in groups. Now, her friends can either work for or against you. Jake started off well, but then he made his mistake.
He forgot that he was talking to 3 girls and instead focused all of his attention on one. The other girls obviously had no interest in standing around while Susan was being hit on.
When you approach more than one girl, be sure to introduce yourself to each of them. Look for ways to include them all in your conversation until the time is right for you to focus on the one you're interested in.
Always make it clear which of the girls you're interested in by using body language and eye contact, but don't be too obvious.
Hi girls, I'm Jake.
Lauren.
Hey Lauren.
Hi, I'm Julie.
Hey Julie.
Susan.
It's great to meet y'all. I was just over at the bar waiting for my friend and thought I'd come by and say hello. How do you guys all know each other?
We work together.
Oh, that's great. Where do you guys work?
Over at the medical center?
Oh, the medical center. Very cool.
I think a table just opened up. You guys want to go sit down?
Yeah. Would you like to join us till your friend comes back?
Sure, that'd be great. Thanks.
Great.
There you go.
By addressing the entire group and becoming part of our larger conversation, Jake opened the door.
When a girl is out with her friends, those friends have a big influence on her. She's going to be wondering what they will think of you, and she's going to be very careful. If her friends do accept you, you're in a much better position.
While we've got Jake over there, let's bring up another topic, the wingman. Sometimes having a friend to work with will make it much easier and definitely less intimidating for you. It's best to keep it down to you and another friend, but of course, this is flexible.
Now let's see how the scenario would go if Jake had waited for his friends to come back from the bathroom before he approached the girls.
Come on, man. They're cute. Be a team player. Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Jake. This is my friend Marcus. How you guys doing? So how do you guys know each other?
We work together.
Wow, that's great. So do Marcus and I.
Cool. Where do you guys work?
Good old wingman. Where would we be without him?
As you can see, in cases when there's someone there to tend to the friends, you can focus all of your energy on that girl you're interested in.
This works wonders when there are multiple girls involved. However, when you're interested in that one girl and she's by herself, it's always better to meet her alone.
If you're with somebody else, whether you're meeting a girl who's solo or a girl who's in a group, try not to be with somebody who's much better looking than you.
It's called association, and it means that any girl will compare you to the people she meets you with. So, if your buddy's a big stud, it won't help your cause.
It may not ruin your chances, but it certainly won't help. Your best bet is to meet her alone, or even better, if you're with a girl who's more beautiful than she is.
This is the result of the psychological effect that self-esteem has on women. If a woman's self-esteem is low, she'll be easier to get.
That explains the so-called rebound effect.
If you're with a good-looking girl, You can be sure that the girl you've approached has noticed her and evaluated her looks. If your friend is clearly more attractive than the girl you've approached, it can be a subtle subconscious blow to her self-esteem.
Okay, now let's review what we just covered.
1. If you're alone and engaging more than one girl, be sure not to leave her friends out. Flatter each of them until the chance presents itself for you to solely focus on the one you're interested in.
2. Many times it will help to have a friend as a wingman. He can keep her friends busy while you focus on the one you like.
3. It's usually better to meet a girl you're interested in by yourself. It will play against you if your friend is better looking, but it will play in your favor if you're with an attractive woman.
4. When a girl's self-esteem is taken a hit, approaching her will be much easier. She'll also find you more attractive.
Let's cover one more example of approaching and initiating contact with a girl. This time, let's see Raul meeting a girl in a different environment.
Remember, when you're approaching a girl you don't know, you're a stranger, and you'll most likely be interrupting her from what she's been doing.
Knowing this, you need to quickly make the situation more comfortable by being friendly, smiling, and putting her at ease.
Another thing, women absolutely love compliments. We spend a lot of time trying to look the way we do, and we absolutely love it when you acknowledge it.
Compliments play a very large role in the next chapter when we focus on actual conversation. When complimenting her, try to be sincere and don't go overboard. Avoid complimenting her on obvious things that they hear all the time.
If she's beautiful, don't tell her that right away. She's heard it 1,000 times and she was born that way. Instead, find something to compliment her on that she's responsible for. It goes a lot farther.
It should also go without saying, but just in case, don't compliment women on things like the size of their breasts.
That's a lovely jacket.
Oh, yeah. Too expensive, though, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think everything on the street's a little overpriced.
Yeah.
Hey, you went to UM?
Yeah, law school. I'm still going.
Wow, UM Law. That's a great school. So that means you have the beauty and the brains? I'm sorry, I didn't even introduce myself. My name's Raul.
Lisa.
Nice to meet you, Lisa.
You see, bars and nightclubs aren't the only places to meet women.
Let's break down what Raul did step by step. Later on, we'll continue with this conversation and see where he takes it.
We may sound like a broken record here, but he took the initiative.
We definitely have to drum that into your mind. If this is going to work for you, you have to be willing to put it on the line and approach the girl.
Raul didn't have to use some stupid generic pickup line. He made an observation on the situation and commented on it. He was quick to introduce himself to become more familiar.
After that, he made another observation to steer the conversation. Now remember, you only have a few seconds to make an impression.
He interrupted Lisa. She didn't ask for him to come over, and she didn't even see him.
But he acted quickly to show her that he's harmless. He smiled and came off as friendly.
Not overly aggressive, but still very confident.
By asking her about the school on her shirt, he was able to determine enough information to start the conversation off.
He was also able to determine something very useful to compliment her on, her intelligence.
Plus, he was able to do that while complimenting her physical appearance.
Killing 2 birds with 1 stone. There aren't any exercises from this chapter since you'll need info from Volume 2 to follow up with the girl that you approach.
Let's move on now with Chapter 4, where we show you just how many places there are to meet quality women.
So you do think that it's good for the guy to make the first move?
Of course. It's much easier that way. Less pressure on the girl, but, you know.
I feel it's cool. I mean, why not? Come up to me alone. I mean, you're gonna come up with me and my friends. I mean, it shows that, you know, you have guts, because a lot of guys don't.
I'd rather alone, I think, because that shows that the person has confidence.
I think it should be the guy. I'm kind of a traditionalist.
I don't know. I always like it when he comes up and he doesn't single you out initially. He introduces himself to the group, you know, starts talking, and then, you know, the guy always then initially comes up to you afterwards and starts the conversation with you personally.
Opening lines, it depends on how they're delivered, I guess.
Not too corny.
cheesy pickup
They can be
lines
funny
can
in the right
be
context, I
okay.
think,
Yeah, as long as they're
as long as
recognizing
they know that it's
that it is
funny
a
and
cheesy
not
pickup
serious.
line, and they're not trying to pretend that it's a serious kind of suave move.
Right.
To be yourself, very outspoken. All them pickup lines, it won't get you too far. Hi, how you doing? How's your day? That's it.
And using pickup lines. I mean, girls aren't stupid. We know what a pickup line is. We've heard them all. They don't work. I don't know. Just don't use pickup lines. And don't talk about yourself too much. You need to show that you're interested in the girl. Ask her questions, like real questions, not what are you going to do later tonight, you know. Stuff like that.
Okay.
But show you're interested in the girl as a person.
Turn-offs? Just being a cocky punk. You know, like, you know, just being... There's a fine line between being confident about yourself and just being a jerk. You know, anyone's a jerk who doesn't treat people with respect. Like, again, if you're out to dinner and you're treating the waitress mean or the waiter mean, you know, it's like, we're all in this together. Treat everybody the same.
When they're too cocky, guys, when they approach me and they're all conceited and cocky and like, yeah, whatever, I'm so cool, you know. I'm the coolest dude here and you should be happy that I'm talking to you type things like that. That's like a major turn off.
You know, I hear the same complaint over and over. I can't find any good girls. There aren't any good single girls out there.
Well, I can tell you firsthand, as a good single girl, there are plenty of us out there waiting, and you come into contact with us every single day without even noticing.
Here you have a typical city. It may be a lot prettier than your average city, yet it has the same qualities.
Down there we can find bars, restaurants, and plenty of nightclubs.
Along with those obvious places to meet women, we have museums, art galleries, parks,
grocery stores, coffee shops, and everything from yoga to cooking classes.
Those are some of the places that we'll be covering, the kind of place where you can meet an everyday girl.
We'll also be covering the different categories of environments and the challenges inherent to each of them.
Now remember, not every single type of place that we'll be covering will be available to you, but most of them will, whether you live in New York, San Diego, or Fargo.
Statistics don't lie. Wherever you are, there is no shortage of available single women. According to the Bureau of the Census, in 1998, the ratio of women to men aged 18 and over was 1.08 to 1. That means there's at least one girl out there for every guy.
With 0.08 left over.
And according to the Population Reference Bureau, in 1990, only 55% of women over age 15 were married.
That translates to a lot of single women out there. Let's start out by watching an example to help make our first point.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah?
Haven't I seen you before?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm Max. I used to live right over there by the marina.
Oh, next block?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I have seen you before. Only your hair was combed and you were dressed differently.
Yeah, I know. It was just like the roughest night.
All right, well, I'll see you around.
Okay, bye.
We've said it before and we'll say it again.
You never know when or where you'll run into the woman that you're interested in.
So make sure you always look good, well, or at least decent.
Remember Murphy's Law. You'll run into her when you least expect it.
Okay, let's switch gears now and talk about the different category environments. We refer to them as category 1, 2, and 3. These numbers correspond to the difficulty level in picking up women, with 1 being the easiest and 3 being the hardest.
Don't be intimidated by the category, though. Just because it's a little harder doesn't mean that it isn't possible.
Category 1 locations are places and situations that include parties thrown by friends or work. Basically, any place that you have a sort of instant credibility.
For example, take a look at this dinner party.
You should have more parties like this, Walter.
Oh, thanks a lot. Yeah, you having a good time?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, sure. This good? Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
How's that wine?
Not too bad.
I'm Max.
Lisa, nice to meet you.
Likewise. So how do you know Walter?
My brother and him went to high school together.
Really?
I've known him since I was a kid. How about you?
Oh, we went to college together.
So you went to Caltech?
Uh-huh.
Nice.
So cheers.
All right, cheers to that.
These type of environments are the easiest to meet women in. Anything from a party
to being set up by a friend. You need to take advantage of the opportunities being presented in this category.
As you saw from that short example, it's very easy to meet a woman in a Category 1 environment. You have a common factor from the start, which means you're not a complete stranger, and it takes less work to make her feel comfortable.
Women are automatically more approachable and almost obligated to be friendly in these settings.
A list of places or situations that fall under Category 1 include any type of party, wedding, holiday party, dinner party.
Being out with friends of friends, whether it's to eat or to a bar or nightclub.
Obviously being set up by a mutual friend. Now, Category 2 locations and environments include any situation in which you have a common ground.
These include places such as classes, the workplace, or a place of worship.
In these environments, you may not have a common friend that gives you instant credibility, but you still aren't a complete stranger.
For example, if you sign up for yoga, you'll become familiar with many of the women in the class, and meeting them will come naturally.
Not to mention that the list of Category 2 locations we'll give you are usually filled with plenty of single women.
In fact, these are the places that are recommended by us, although Category 1 may be easier.
But you can't actively create a Category 1 environment. You have to wait for an invitation to a party or for a friend to set you up. On the other hand, you can be proactive and place yourself in Category 2 environments.
Okay, now let's watch one of my favorites, the spinning class.
Hey, I think you left your towel.
Oh, thanks.
Are you new here? I've never seen you in this class.
Yeah, I used to take classes in the Grove, but this is more convenient.
Yeah, Jenny's a great teacher. I've been here for like a month. It's been making a world of difference.
Yeah, I remember when I first started, I was sore for like a whole week.
I almost quit.
Really? I'm glad you stuck with it.
Yeah, me too. My name's Raul, by the way.
Susan.
Susan, it's nice to meet you. Hopefully I'll see you here next week.
Yeah.
Have a nice weekend.
You too. Nice meeting you, Raul.
See how easy it was for Raul to approach Susan? It wasn't awkward or intimidating.
Very natural, and Raul wasn't rushed either. He can now take a more subtle approach.
He knows he'll be seeing her again, and this way the entire pickup will be less rushed.
There's also the psychological aspect of familiarity. The more a woman sees you, the more familiar she becomes with you, and the more attractive you become to her.
Let's take a look at a Category 2 environment to show you just how convenient they are for meeting women.
Hi, do you mind if I work in with you?
Oh, no problem. I only have one more set left anyway. Go ahead.
Thanks. You know, I see you here all the time. I have to tell you, I really admire your dedication.
It's hard to get myself in here every day, especially after a long day at work.
Oh, tell me about it. You know, I used to try coming here in the mornings before work. Totally didn't work. I mean, I'd feel really good afterward, but that extra hour, I just can't cope.
Me too. I'm so not a morning person. I like it much better here in the evening, but it is a little more crowded.
Yeah, it's a little more crowded, but you get to meet nice people.
That's true.
My name's Raul, by the way.
Oh, nice to meet you.
I'd give you my hand, but I'm a little gross right now.
Oh, thanks. I'm Lauren.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Now you see, it is possible to meet women at the gym. I know plenty of guys who have.
Although you may be sweaty and wearing sweatpants, you make up for that by the fact that the woman gets to see you taking care of your body.
On to Category 3 environments, which is where all the previous chapter examples took place.
These locations cover just about anything that wasn't included in the first two categories. In these types of places, you have no common friend.
And no common activity. Ironically, it's this category in which you are most likely to meet women, just because you spend so much time in Category 3 environments.
In any of the environments that fall under Category 3, you're a complete stranger. You'll most likely be approaching a woman and interrupting her.
These locations include places like bars, nightclubs, the grocery store,
coffee shops, art galleries, and even walking on the street.
Don't be discouraged by us referring to them as harder environments. They aren't necessarily hard, just harder than the other categories.
Let's take a look at an example of a typical place that falls under this category. Another one of my favorites, the grocery store.
Excuse me. Can you help me for 1 second? Thank you so much. It's my mother's birthday, and I need to bake her a cake, except I don't know what kind of cake mix to use.
Well,
What kind of cake does she like?
Who knows? I guess chocolate.
That's fine. I'm sure chocolate will work. You should try Missy's Fudge Delight.
Is it tough to make?
Bake? No, it's pretty easy. Just add the ingredients and put it in the oven.
Really? That sounds about my cooking ability.
Sure, you'll do just fine.
Thank you so much.
Not so bad. Even though that was a Category 3 environment, Max was able to approach an attractive girl. You'll never know who you'll run into.
I've dated guys I've met at the grocery store.
The trick to approaching women in Category 3 environments is to appear harmless as quickly as possible.
Find a way to keep her attention. She may be on the move or in the middle of doing something, so you need to act quickly.
Awkward silence and pausing to think after interrupting a woman in a Category 3 environment will most likely result in her moving on.
Another tip regarding Category 3 is to visit places at a similar time regularly.
This helps you become familiar with women who frequent these places, such as coffee shops or bars.
By doing this, you begin to remove the element of being a complete stranger. Now for Chapter 4's exercises.
You need to identify 2 potential Category 2 environments available in your area that you are interested in, and then begin attending them.
Once you're there, take note of potential women to approach.
Next, you need to identify 2 Category 3 environments available to you.
And then make an effort to frequent them either daily or weekly and at the same times.
After your first few times there, take note of familiar faces. These are the women you'll be approaching after you're done with Volume 2.
Where's the best place to meet a guy? I would say somewhere casual, like a supermarket or a coffee shop, something like that.
Like somewhere in public, shopping, or just walking around in a park, or doing some kind of recreational activity. Okay. Like maybe a cafe or a restaurant, store, grocery store maybe.
I actually personally think that it's really through friends and not out at bars. I mean, I've had some success with that, but I think that, you know, for the most part, the lasting relationships are, you know, people that, you know people. And
I met my boyfriend in a bar, randomly.
You know, probably if the guy goes to the gym, you go to the gym, then you're going to see them quite often, you know. So that's, again, that's you kind of get to know them in a way.
I don't really think clubs are good for meeting guys. I think in situations you least expect it. I don't know, the beach, your workplace.
At the workplace?
Yeah, at your workplace. Friends of your friends kind of things. I don't think clubs are good places to meet guys at all.
I mean, I've met guys everywhere. I've been out to the clubs, I've been to the bars, and I mean, I'm single now, so obviously that hasn't worked. I mean, I don't know, I'm still looking. I meet guys through friends, at work, wherever I may be. I mean, I'm always meeting guys.
Do you think places like classes in church and school
Sure. I mean, yeah, class definitely, because that's the reason to go to class every day, to sit and stare at that cute guy, you know, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
My own opinion, I think it's not the best way to meet guy in the club, because it's like the most dangerous. Because these guys, they're having fun, you know, they're going over there just to meet girls for one night and everything. I don't think that it's the best. Of course, I believe, you know, that there is like a couple situation that you can meet guy and you will have serious relations and everything in club, but it's the most dangerous. I think the most good way to meet person is like through the friends, you know, the person who you know is like the best way, 100% good, you're sure in it, you know. South Beach is actually a dangerous place.
This concludes Volume 1. Make sure you review the chapters that you need to work on.
And be sure to practice those exercises.
And when you're ready, move on to Volume 2, where we'll cover topics that you need to continue your progress.
Topics like the art of conversation and flirting,
followed by wrapping up the conversation and getting her number,
as well as planning the first date and asking her out.
See you in Volume 2.